So I'm sure you remember a while back there was an incident with Alec Baldwin on the set of his independent movie Rust. And it was a tragedy, a big tragedy. The cinematographer who was working on the film was getting shots of Alec Baldwin doing a quick draw stunt on set. And unfortunately, the firearm that he was using was, of course, not loaded with dummies. It had live rounds in it, and that woman lost her life. It's an unfortunate event. It's a tragedy. It's awful for the family. And Alec Baldwin, of course, had a lot of authorities looking at him because, well, I mean, he killed her. I'm not saying he did it intentionally. I don't think he did that intentionally. It was an accident. But Alec Baldwin is not, he's not the greatest person in the world. He's very unhinged. There's videos of him being unhinged in public on flights. He's very obsessed with the Orange Man. Big time obsessed with him. He did that SNL impression of him. Remember? So there's been developments in the Rust case. And I'm talking about the Orange Man for a reason because it's going to tie into Rust in a second. The FBI came out and said that he did pull the trigger. And like I said, I don't think he did anything intentionally. He didn't know there was a live round in that firearm. He didn't know that. But he did pull the trigger. That's undeniable. There's the only way that it would go off. That's the only way it would go off is if you pulled the trigger. It's not an automatic, like, magic gun. So Alec Baldwin has been on this little stampede for a while saying that he didn't pull it and he's actually innocent and all this stuff. Well, that's BS. The FBI report that came out proves that he did pull the trigger. Not like we needed that. It's pretty obvious. He's still going around saying he didn't, like it's some kind of conspiracy. He's also turning the situation around on himself, making himself the victim of the Rust situation. This is disgusting. Alec Baldwin now is saying that he is the real victim, not Helena Hutchinson, the cinematographer that he killed. And he did, even though it was an accident. He killed her. He's now turning that around and saying he is the victim. Why is he the victim? Because Trump weighed in on it, and he was now scared for his life. So the real victim of the Rust situation is now Alec Baldwin. The family of Miss Hutchinson should be outraged by this because now he's trying to take it all for himself. And I'm not kidding. Look at this. From the New York Post. Alec Baldwin feared Trump comments on Rust shooting would inspire violence against him. He was so worried about this. Alec Baldwin, unhinged, huge narcissist, and this is kind of a D-bag move. This is really scummy, in my opinion, trying now to desperately turn this situation into a victim card for him. This is gross and wrong on so many levels. But it's a typical shitty Alec Baldwin move. I mean, this is what this man does. Personally, I think he's a POS, and this is another POS move by this man. And I say man very, very lightly when it comes to Alec Baldwin. So let's look at this because it's disgusting, and it really irritated me when I read this because it's like, what a dick move. So you're now trying to make this about you, and not to get out of trouble. You want all of the worry and press as a victim now. During an exclusive CNN interview, actor Alec Baldwin stated that the only time he was worried about the consequences of the fatal Rust movie set shooting was after former President Donald Trump weighed in on the tragedy, implying that his physical safety was in danger. Baldwin claimed that Trump had instructed people to commit acts of violence during a certain date. You know the date. And now he's pointing fingers at me? So he also maintained on his interview that he never once said never that the gun went off in his hand automatically. I always said I pulled the hammer back, and I pulled it back as far as I could. I never took a gun and pointed it at somebody and clicked the thing. Oh, well, you're lying. He's lying right here. Liar. Well, I suppose it just, so the bullet came out, and then it, like, you know, in cartoons, where, like, the bullets are, like, cartoon characters. If you ever seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Eddie had those cartoon bullets that he shot, and they would move and track. So I guess they have those kind of bullets on the set of Rust, and it shot up in the air, and then it, you know, spinned around like a Looney Tune bullet, and it hit Helena. What if this guy's a clown, man? So check this out. I'm going to read you what it was exactly said. Baldwin described how he was victimized by Orange Man over the shooting. The former president of the United States said he probably shot her on purpose. So that was a comment he made during a rally. It was an Orange Man joke. He was just being him, like his regular self. I doubt he meant that. He's just throwing shade at Baldwin. It's not an instruction to do anything. But now he's saying that because he did that, it's because he was trying to physically endanger Baldwin with that comment. Because he was already doing the same to his political enemies on that January date. To me, that was the only time I thought that I was worried what was going to happen, because here was Trump, who instructed people to commit acts of violence, and he was pointing the finger at me and saying I was responsible for the death. Well, you were responsible for it. Who else would be? I mean, I'm not saying that he did it intentionally. I'm not saying anything like that. But the fact of the matter is, you had the gun, you pulled the trigger, and that was a consequence of your actions. It was an accident, but you're still responsible. The way he words this shit is just such a joke. I'm surprised I'm shocked the media doesn't, like, roast him and really push him for this, but they let it go. Probably because he's such a useless idiot. So that's what's going on now. Now he is the victim of this situation. And it's just disgusting to me. You are not the victim. The victims are that woman that lost her life and her family, not you. And to turn this around and imply that you are now is very, very incredibly disrespectful to that family. And they should be furious that he's pulling this kind of bullshit. I hope they sue him, and I hope they rake him over the coals in lawsuits and take everything. Like they took everything from them. Because he's just an awful person. Awful, awful person. And this is one of the shittiest things I think I've ever covered. What a clown to do this. You're not the victim, Alec Baldwin. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my locals.
Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out.
Also, make sure to follow me over on Twitch. I do watch parties, play video games over there. They're always fun. Follow me over there and come hang out. Also, make sure you subscribe to YellowFlash, my other channel. There's a link to that in the description as well. I do a lot of live streams over there that I don't do on this channel. Usually smaller and a little bit more personal. So make sure you follow me over there and sign up.